What if you have no place to call home, no place to sleep, and no access to mental health support?
Losing your home not only because of bad choices, but because of mental health condition that made it impossible to keep a job or parent. Now imagine reaching out for help, not only to be turned away because there are not enough services. This is the reality for thousands of people in Canada.
Mental health and homelessness are deeply connected. Up to 50% of people experiencing homelessness in Canada also struggle with mental illness. But instead of receiving care, many are treated like criminals, forced to live in unsafe conditions, and sometimes left for years or months to receive support.
Mental illness can make it difficult to maintain stable housing. At the same time, the stress of being homeless worsens mental health condition, making recovery even harder. Did you know over 235,000 people experience homelessness in Canada every year? And people with severe mental illness are 10 times more likely to experience homelessness than those without any mental health issue. You might be wondering, why isn't this solved? The answer lies in our laws and policies. Instead of prioritizing housing and treatment, many cities criminalize homelessness.
One of the major legal barriers is the Safe Street Act 1999 Ontario and similar bylaws across Canada, which criminalize panhandling and sleeping in public spaces. These laws mainly target homeless individuals, issuing fines they cannot pay, further enriching them in poverty instead of addressing the root cause, such as inadequate mental health support. These policies make it harder for individuals to escape homelessness. Homelessness and mental health are not just other people's problem. They affect our communities, our economy, and even our safety.
So, what can we do? Strengthen the legal protection for housing and mental health. Enforce housing as a human right. The National Housing Strategy Act 2019 recognizes housing as a human right, but it has no enforcement mechanism. Action. Advocate for Housing Rights Enforcement Act, requiring federal and provincial governments to legally commit to funding permanent supportive housing. Ensure mental health care is legally recognized as a core health service. The Canada Health Act does not adequately mandate mental health services as an essential component of healthcare. Action. Advocate for mental health parity law, requiring provinces to provide free universal access to therapy, psychiatric care, and addiction services.
Expand housing first with integrated mental health services. Legally require housing first in provincial housing policies. Some provinces still focus on emergency shelters rather than long-term housing solution. Action. Lobby for provincial laws mandating housing first programs with on-site mental health care.
Ensure mental health services are accessible to unhoused individuals. We should advocate for ID-free access to mental health services, ensuring unhoused individuals can get care without any barrier.
Increase social assistance to prevent homelessness. Current welfare and disability benefits are not enough to cover rent, keeping many people at risk of homelessness. Advocate for legislation that ties social assistance rates to inflation and housing.
Challenge discriminatory laws and policies in court. Some landlords refuse to rent to individuals with a history of mental illness. We should use human rights legislation to file discrimination complaints and push for stronger enforcement of tenants' protection laws.
Mobilize public support and political actions. Mental health is a solvable issue, but only if we act.
Laws should protect people, not punish them.
Housing should be a human right, not a privilege.
We all have a role to play to create a more inclusive society. Will you be the part of change?